Hi guys, thank you for being interested in this very interesting tutorial that we are going to talk about easing. Well, I've been wanting to make this tutorial for some times. I even mentioned it for a few times in my other tutorials that it's about the time that I should make it. So let's get to it. So what is actually easing? Easing is controlling the speeds of elements when they move in our animations, interactions, and we can change the speed in the same time frame and make them go slower or faster in the timing that we are actually giving them. Let me give you an example of what I mean. So this car, look at that. It starts and ends at the same speed, which looks quite mechanical and even a bit annoying. I mean, it moves like in a kind of in an annoying way. Okay, if you see this car, when I click on it, you will see that it starts fast but slows down when it gets to the end. So kind of like its movement looks a bit more natural. I mean, I can make this animation slower and it will look even better actually, but I gave them the same timing, both of them. And then, so you see this movement looks much more natural. In the same way, you can control the way that elements move in your animations, in your interactions, and let's see exactly how to do that. Okay, so here, by the way, I have this file which I pre-made some elements, some screens and elements, just not to waste time in the tutorial of making them now. And okay, so we have these kind of like three circles, and when we tap actually on mobile, but here it's click, it's okay. So when we tap this button, so these circles will move a bit to the side and will become bigger. Okay, now the interaction that they have is on click. I can put them in a mockup, but it doesn't really matter right now. So let's because we're talking about easing, it doesn't matter really. Okay, so on click, smart animate, a second, which is long, but just to show exactly what I mean. And it has the default easing, which is the ease out. That's the default easing of Figma, means that it starts faster and slows a bit at the end of the animation. Okay, here it's the same. So let's see exactly how it looks. Yeah, we can close this one and let's see how it looks. Okay, so when I click this button, let me sure I'm not missing any part of the screen. That's okay. When I click this button, so you see something like that, and when I click it again, you see something like that. I guess that this one is faster. Oh yeah, it's 400 milliseconds. You know what, let's give it a 500. And let's give this one a 500 as well. So it's gonna go something like that, which is okay, it looks fine. Now, if I'll give it a linear in this time frame, basically I'm not sure that you're gonna see much of a difference, but it's gonna be a bit more harsh. I mean, let's put it on linear. Linear, it means basically no easing. It starts and ends like the car we saw before. It starts and ends in the same animation speeds and looks like that. Okay, it's kind of like I don't know, it looks more mechanical, and the easing of course looks a bit smoother. So that's the ease out. Okay, I'm not going to show all the types of easing, but I'm going to show a few of them. Okay, so this is, yeah, it looks better. So you see it looks a bit smoother and kind of like more polished, let's put it like that. It's not annoying. Now, if I want to have a more of an elastic movement on these elements, so I can do that. By the way, if I'll do the ease in, it's gonna happen exactly the opposite, meaning it's gonna start a bit slow and end the animation faster, which in this case, okay, this is the ease in, it's gonna look even a bit I don't know, kind of like it I don't know, gets stuck at the end of it. I mean, you will see now what I mean. You see? So it starts a bit slower and ends faster. So it does exactly the opposite from the ease out, which is important to understand and know the differences. And you should and you should use actually the right easing. Depends on what you need in your interactions and your animations. Okay, now if I want to give it a bit of an elastic move, I can choose, actually I can select the ease in back or ease out back. Now what it does, actually, the ease out back, so it gets to the end of the movement and then continues a bit more and gets back to the end position. Sounds a bit confusing what I said right now, but you will see it now. So look at, by the way, when we're adding more movements to the easing, sometimes, or in a lot of times, it's better to add also a bit more timing in order for it to handle the extra movement better. I mean, look at that now. Okay, you see that kind of like jumpy, a bit elastic movement, which is good, but it looks like it's moving faster. Actually, it is moving faster because it needs to do more movements in the same time frame. What I mean by that is basically, I think I did, yeah, I did it here. Okay, so okay, so what we're seeing here now, actually, let's do it like that. So what we're seeing now is this is the same time frame. Okay, I mean, like if I draw a line from the start to the end, basically this line is the same length of this one, but this one is with, let's say, no easing, or a linear, I mean, like, or a very small easing. Okay, meaning like an ease out, but just gentle one. So it has this line to pass when it starts and ends. And when I add elastic movements and more stuff to it, so basically it does kind of like more, let's say, rounded path, okay, something like that, in order to get to the end. So that means that if we wanted this one and this one to end at the same timing, this car will actually has to go faster in order to finish that movement. So that's exactly what I mean. So now if we want it not to look like it, or not to move faster, actually, so we need to add, let me add, let's, oh, 1 second. Yeah, let me bring this back. Of course, let me add 100 milliseconds. Let me give it a 600, okay? And you will see now every 100 milliseconds makes a lot of difference, okay? So you will see now, you see now it looks kind of like more gentle and smooth, and it does the elastic movement very nice, okay? So that was, of course, a demo of how that works. And here, let's see another example of it. So we have this one, this menu, which actually I didn't make it as an interactive component. I will show on interactive component in a bit. But this menu, actually, when I hit this icon, so that connects to this screen, it has an ease out, and I think that, you know what, that's too much. Let's give it a 600 or even a 500 milliseconds. Okay, and this one, okay, we'll give it the way back the same. Let's give it a 400 milliseconds, even a bit faster. And if we'll hit the play, okay, so that's what it does, okay, which actually looks even a bit slow, even too slow. So that's what it does, this menu. And we can make it faster. See that now. You know what, even 300 milliseconds, I think it's gonna work really nice. So you see that a good interaction, basically, it's the timing and the easing, and of course the type of the interaction. If you're working with Smart Animate, that means that you are the boss and you determine how each element moves on the screen. If you're working with the move in, move out, slide in, slide out, so you have to select the best interaction that will happen when you are doing it, plus timing, plus easing. Okay, so that means that now, yeah, the 300 is looks very good for this interaction. Okay, now I want to do this interaction and have it like a bit more jumpy, elastic. Okay, so we're gonna see it here, and I'm gonna show also the custom Bezier and explain about that as well. Let me give it an ease out back 500 milliseconds. I'll give it a 400 milliseconds. We said that if we're giving it a more of an elastic move or animation actually, so we're gonna give it a bit more time. By the way, I can open it in a kind of like in an elastic animation, and I can, when I close it, it can stay actually on the regular ease out. It doesn't have to be jumpy when it closes as well. So let me hit this one and I'll show you, by the way, the difference. So you see, so now it's kind of like it has that elastic move and it closes on a regular one without being jumpy. Now if I'll give this one as well the ease out back, so let's give it also a 400 milliseconds, and now you will see that I think it works a bit. I mean, you see what happens at the end. So yeah, it's kind of like it doesn't always plays good. So you need to select and be smart about it, or do the right easing for it and so on. Okay, now, so that's why I made it 300 milliseconds and with an ease out. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to adjust the movement, how you can, even if you want to exaggerate and do it like more extreme with the custom Bezier. So here I'm on an ease out, and when I select this custom Bezier, so you will see this graph. This graph actually shows you this curve, more right to say. This curve shows you how the element moves, or how the animation actually is happening. So let me explain about that a bit. This is the starting point, and that's basically the end point of all the animation, of all the movements that we have in the way, all the easing that we have, meaning here it's going to move fast. Okay, it's going to get to the end. I mean, this is kind of like the border of the end. It's going to get to the end of this movement. It's going to, because it's elastic, it's going to continue the opening and this menu's the growth of this menu a bit more and get back to the end point. So this is how this curve actually is explained. Now, because I didn't change the this one, I didn't change actually the ease out back, whatever Figma gives, I mean the preset. So when I go to the custom Bezier, if I didn't change anything, it's gonna play the same. Okay, I mean there's not gonna be any difference. But if I want to make it more extreme, more jumpy, and I make it like more let's say quick and fast and furious, let's put it like that. So I can select this one, take it a bit up. Okay, and here actually I am doing the elastic part of it bigger, so it's gonna grow more. I'll even take it a bit more extreme like that. And here, so we said that going up is fast, and the horizontal one, as horizontal as it gets, it becomes slower. So if I'll do it like that, okay, it's gonna grow all the way up to here and gonna kind of like slide in more smooth when it ends the move. Let's see exactly how it happens, but on the 400 milliseconds it's gonna be too fast. Let's give it a 600, I think, and let's see how it works. Yeah, you see, so now actually it grows even bigger than the screen itself. Okay, because I made it extreme on purpose, because I just wanted to show you guys that how extreme can I do it. So it kind of like yeah, it looks like that. So yes, and by the way, if I'll take this one like that, there's not going to be any smoothing when it ends the move. It's going to do all the elastic part, and then kind of like boom, it's going to end very harsh. Let me show you exactly how it looks now. You see, kind of like boom. Yeah, it doesn't finish the movement, the animation very nice. It's kind of like getting stuck there. So yeah, so you see that I can really control quite nicely the movement of this element. So that's actually an ease out back, and with a custom bezier we made it more extreme, and we can also select the ease in back, and now I'm going to select the custom bezier, and now it's kind of like all the way but the opposite way around. So here, by the way, what it does is that it takes kind of like you know what, let me show you to you here. Yeah, let's do on this on these circles. Okay, so if I'll take these circles here, and if I want also for them to get an elastic move not only on the end of the animation but also on start, I can have them kind of like go a bit back and then do all the animation and go all the way to the end of it. Okay, let's see exactly how it happens. Okay, so it's gonna be on click, yeah, is out, and let's do the, you know what, even I can show it on the custom bezier here. So what I want to do here now, look at that, I'm gonna take this one here all the way to here, and I'm gonna have the elastic movement both ways, meaning it's gonna go a bit back when it starts the movement, the animation actually, then go fast all the way to the end of it, be elastic to the end, and it's gonna be kind of like, let's do it something like that. And of course I'm gonna give it more timing. Let's give it an 800 milliseconds. So let's see how it happens now. Here, you see what it does? So if I'll do it again, so notice, you know what, I'll give it even a 1 second. Let's give it a bit more time. Okay, so now when I hit the button, it's going to go a bit back and go all the way to the end. You see, so that's what it does. Okay, so again, we did that again. I mean, we control the way that this element moves by the custom bezier. So I guess that now it's starting to be a bit more clear. And again, if I want to have a linear with a curve just to show how it looks, I click on this point, and then it removes all the manipulations that I did to this curve. And if I hit this one as well, it's just going to be a straight line. There's not going to be any easing on that at all, meaning that now let's give it like a 500 milliseconds, and if I hit the play now, so that's what it's going to do. This is without any easing at all. Okay, so by the custom bezier, I can control it completely. Okay, so that was kind of like I guess one type of easing. And now actually Figma added lately this whole section of new easing, and with this one, by the way, the gentle one. So here you have a preview, okay, of what it does. You can adjust, of course, the timing. Okay, I'm talking about all of them in Smart Animate. I mean, I don't see that much point in a lot of times to do that with the other types of I mean, you can, but I think that you'll find yourself more dealing with easing when you are creating smart animation for sure. Okay, so anyway, but it works the same way on all of them. I mean, in all the types of the animations, if I'll do a move in with this kind of easing, so it's going to behave exactly like that. Let's see exactly how it works. You see, so it does the kind of like elastic movement at the end, you see, and yeah, and of course you can use it with slide in, slide out, pushes, and I mean this one. Push, slide in, slide out. You can use it with all of them, but I'm going to concentrate more on right now the Smart Animate. Okay, so let's bring it back to Smart Animate. So we have the gentle one, that's what it does. You have quick, but again, it's just kind of like with a small bounce at the end. By the way, if you'll make it slower, so it's gonna be just more bouncy at the end, meaning like that. See, so that's what it does. All these ones actually, all the last ones are more, as it says, bouncy. So they're all kind of bouncy. Wow, this is like really crazy. Yeah, let's give it something like that. So this is the bouncy one. Okay, again, of course, it does you need to find kind of like the exact situation or animation that is gonna fit to it, but that is a bouncy one, very bouncy. Okay, and a slow one. So a slow one actually, it kind of like I think it's, yeah, it's kind of like an ease out basically. I mean, it does uh, by the movement. I mean, it starts a bit faster and ends slower, so that's kind of like an ease out, kind of. Let me see. No, it didn't change it actually. Slow, and let me give it a play again, and we'll see by the custom bouncy ones. Let's see what you can do with that. Yeah, so that's the slow one, but again, it depends on how fast you actually do it, but it's a good one. All of them are very nice easing options. And what you can do here also, you have a custom spring. It's not a bezier, it's a spring, and it looks like that. Okay, if you've seen it or not. So here actually I can select this one, and I can give it a more of a bouncy. Now this is the midline, you see what it does, and this is the bouncy behavior of it, meaning that's going above the endpoint, that's going below the endpoint, above, below, and that's how, wow, it's really annoying. And then you see, all these bouncy behaviors happening there. Now you can make it slower, okay, something like that, and then you see it's gonna, yeah, it looks like a mosquito going over the screen. It always makes me funny. So you can either drag this one here or here, make it higher or lower, and then you can really adjust what actually is going to happen there. Okay, so that is really slow. Of course, if I'll make it faster, I'll get something like that, and a bit slower, and then you can adjust it here, how it behaves. You can that's all custom totally. And yeah, so that's the way it works, basically, the kind of bouncy one. Okay, so this is the more of a bouncy, because on the custom bezier, on this one, it's a bit more hard, or it's definitely harder to give it like a very bouncy behavior. So in case that's what you want, of course, recommended to work with these ones and the custom spring here. You can make it a bit bouncy or very bouncy, like that. Okay, and if we'll see how it looks, yeah, it looks pretty weird. Okay, so anyway, but yeah, I'm just showing you the technical abilities, and then you just have to translate it to what happens on your screens, and if you really need this easing, and what are you gonna do with it, and so on. Okay, so anyway, so we have talked about this one and the menu, and I want to show also, of course, how it happens with interactive components. Okay, interactive components. So here I have a content card, which this is the collapsed version of it, and this is the expanded version of it. And actually I want to hit this icon, which is a button actually, and here I'm opening it, and it's on a list, which is on a list of cards, which I just changed the images without really dealing with the content in it. Doesn't matter for right now. And I want to show how it animates, and of course we can do the easing between variants as well. So let's hit the play. This one actually we're gonna do in a mocha because now it looks not like I want it to look. Yeah, something like that. And that's what I don't like about the application. It doesn't really refreshes it to itself quickly. By the way, on the browser it does work better. Anyway, so that's what I have it right now. Let's see what kind of animation I made here. Oh, so that is kind of like, let's do it by the way, by the default, which is out. Yeah, I kind of lost myself for a minute with all these easing. Yeah, ease out. Okay, great. So let's do it on an ease out. So when I hit this one, that's what it does. Okay, it's quite fast actually. We can make it if we want to make, by the way, timing also determines the nature of your product, your animations, your interactions. So here I have a 500 milliseconds. Let's give it a 300. So we do it fast, by the way. Let's do it fast. Okay, that's a 300. So when it happens faster, it's kind of like a more of a quick and jumpy one. Okay, and this is an ease out. If I will make it slower, 500 milliseconds, so I will get this result, okay, which is kind of like slower, easier, smoother. Okay, and you can, I don't know, it depends exactly what you want to do in the product. But if I want to give it more of an elastic move, so I can either select, by the way, I can open it, I can close it, sorry, on ease out and open it. Let's take one of the bouncies, but not so bouncy. Let's give it the gentle one and make it a bit faster. Let's give it a 600. And you know what, even I'll go to the custom spring, and I'll even make it a bit more like that. Yeah, I give it a bit more of a bounce when it kind of like gets to the, yeah, like that. Okay, that looks better. Or this is kind of like what I wanted to achieve. Let's see how it works now. Yeah, okay, so that's good. I mean, this is basically what I wanted. I see now. Second. No, that's okay. Just want to see that he didn't kind of like messed it up. That's 100%. We can also see it on 100%. Okay, so it does kind of like the text is a bit jumpy, I see. Kind of. He doesn't really know how to deal with that. Let me see this one. Oh, okay, so that's a bit jumpy. And yeah, that's a bit weird, I guess. But I'm saying weird because I'll tell you what. I mean, when you do interactions and animations in your designs, you need to do it in a way that it doesn't bother the eye of the user, yours and the user. I mean, the user is more important than you. Okay, so basically, it doesn't need to bother the eye. It needs to look smooth, natural, kind of like flows, and it doesn't kind of like look annoying a bit. So anyway, let's give it an ease out back. Let's try the ease out back, a custom Bezier. Yeah, I think that looks okay. Let me see it now. Okay, so that's a bit harsh at the end there. Let me smooth it out a bit, kind of like that. And of course it's too fast. Let me give it a 500. This is kind of like I'm really designing the way I want it to move. Okay, so it does matter. Let's see, this is too slow, by the way, so let's give this one, I'm gonna give it a 300 milliseconds because that's too slow. And when it opens, oh, that's good. Okay, so now it looks great. It closes in a good timing. It's not too slow, it's not too fast, and it opens. That's exactly what I wanted to do. Kind of like a bit jumpy, but not too much. So this is exactly what I wanted to do, and that looks, for me, that looks great. Okay, so this is how I do it with easing on this content card. Now, the last example which I wanted to show you, which is also important to understand when I do prefer the linear behavior or the linear animation actually, and not with any easing on it, is exactly on this example. This is a loader which I made a tutorial of how to do it. I have another tutorial on how to create this loader, but if you'll notice here, by the way, let me change the background because now we can hardly see these arrows, which is a bit annoying. Yes, design, and let me give it now, let me see. Oh, sorry. Yeah, now we can see them better. Okay, good. So look at that. I mean, this is linear. Okay, let's see what it does actually. Let me give it a play and see what this, let me take it out of the yeah. Okay, so that's what this loader does. You see, I mean, this is how it spins, and you see that it's kind of like very stable, and it spins the way that we wanted to do that. That's because these I'm chasing with my mouse after it. So it goes between one to the other with linear, because I want a continuously animation without kind of like having these stops, because I remind you that ease out, for example, it starts fast and ends a bit slow. Let's give it an ease out now and see exactly how it looks and what happens. Ease out. Okay, I'm just going to give them quickly an ease out. Okay, and now it's gonna look terrible. You will see now. Second, let me give it a play. Because it's fast, I mean, I guess you don't see that much of a difference, but it has to show something. Let me see. Yeah, you see it's kind of like stuck. It doesn't go really smooth. So yeah, it's not smooth as before. And actually, if I make them a bit, I'll give it kind of like a 250. I'll do it really quickly. See? Yeah, 250. Okay, here you see what happens. So this is what happens when I work here with an ease out, which is completely wrong. Now if I'll put it back, because it's slower now, so you see it actually much better. So I'll bring it back to linear. I'll do it really quickly. Okay, and now here you see, now it moves really smooth. So see, with the easing, we can actually really change how it moves and looks. Okay, good. And yeah, so if I wanted actually to be, I can just by playing with the time, actually, I can do the last one. I'll leave it on 250, and then it's gonna slow when it kind of like reaches to the last one, you see. So it kind of like has a small stop, let's do it like that. Wait, 300. Yeah, see, so now I'm giving it kind of like a, when it finishes all four, it after four actually, so it slows a bit and then starts the circling again. So, but I say that basically this is pretty much it. I mean, I hope that all the easing thing is much more understandable now, and really you can really control your animations and make them much more look like much better, much more precise, much more professional when you do the right easing for them, the right easing, the right timing, and of course the right interaction. So thanks a lot, guys. I hope that was helpful and practical. And if you like this tutorial, I would be happy for a like. And I will be even more happy if you subscribe to my channel. Thanks a lot, guys, and see you in the next tutorial. Bye for now.